Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever dared to imagine yourself living in a world where every financial limit vanishes? A life where you wake up in a luxury villa, drive your dream car, and spend your days doing exactly what you love without worrying about bills, restrictions, or scarcity. Now, here's the wild part. You don't need to wait for this reality. You can live it now from the inside out. What if I told you that the secret to becoming super rich isn't about grinding harder, but about thinking differently, acting as if the wealth is already yours? Welcome to the powerful concept of living in the end, a mind-altering truth that flips everything you know about success, desire, and manifestation on its head. Everything that you experience in this world, every event, every object, every condition, is a reflection of your inner world. There is no outer cause. The origin of your life's circumstances lies in the invisible realm of consciousness. If you desire to change your world, you must change your conception of yourself. The only creative power in existence is your imagination, and the world you know is but its shadow. Begin to see imagination not as a fleeting daydream, but as the very workshop of creation. The images, the feelings, the moods you carry within you are not idle thoughts. They are the substance from which your world is made. To imagine is to begin a process of becoming. The moment you dare to imagine something that feels beyond your reach, you begin to claim it as possible. When held with faith, when nurtured with feeling, that which is imagined hardens into fact. All things begin in the mind. You may believe that your job, your relationships, or your financial status are the result of action or effort, but action is merely the echo. The cause is always consciousness. When you understand this, you stop trying to fix the outer world and begin to refine the inner state from which all things flow. There is no power outside of consciousness. To believe in the external as ultimate reality is to live as a servant to effects, never touching the cause. Instead, learn to dwell in the unseen. The unseen is the reality. The visible is only its expression. What you assume to be true, what you accept and dwell upon in imagination, becomes your experience. Therefore, imagine wisely. Imagine richly. When you sit in silence and bring before your mind a scene that implies your wish is already fulfilled, you are engaging the law of creation. Do not imagine the process of getting there. Do not concern yourself with how the event will come to pass. Instead, go straight to the end. Feel the result. What would you see, hear, and touch if your desire were now real? What would your inner conversation sound like? Who would congratulate you? What would it feel like to wake up in the morning already in possession of your dream? Live in that feeling. Rehearse it often, not in vain repetition, but with the joy and vividness of a truth you are remembering. For this imagined state, when persisted in, becomes the truth of your being. The world outside must then conform. There is no need to manipulate circumstances. The world is yourself pushed out. Every person, every event, every condition that enters your life is drawn to you by the nature of your inner state. You are never a victim of chance. You are always creating, either consciously or unconsciously. When you realize this, you step into the divine privilege of deliberate creation. Now, consider what it means to live in the end. This is not simply visualizing an outcome. It is the complete and total assumption that what you desire is already yours. It is to think from the place where the wish is fulfilled, not toward it. This distinction is vital. Most people live in a state of wanting, hoping, and desiring, and they believe that this longing will draw the thing to them. But longing only reinforces the absence. Desire, when left unfulfilled in the mind, becomes a chronic declaration of lack. To live in the end is to leap beyond desire into possession. It is to make the result your dwelling place, your home. It is to condition the mind and body to the emotions and assumptions of your fulfilled dream. You no longer ask, will it happen? You rest in the knowing that it already has. Your assumption, clothed in feeling, becomes your reality. Suppose you desire wealth. Do not concern yourself with the numbers or the source. Do not worry about the bank account or the investments. Instead, enter the feeling of being someone who is already wealthy. Let your imagination furnish this inner world. With detail, feel the quality of the clothing you would wear, the spaciousness of your home, the ease with which you make decisions, the peace in your heart, and the freedom in your schedule. Listen inwardly to the voices of those who admire your success. Accept compliments. Feel gratitude for a lifestyle already in motion. Let that scene play again and again until it becomes more familiar than the world outside. If you do this faithfully, the outer world must shift. The laws of reality cannot do otherwise. You may not know how it will come. It is not your job to know. You are the author of the end. Life itself will orchestrate the middle. The people, opportunities, and actions necessary will arise naturally and effortlessly from this inner certainty. To act from the end is not to pretend or fake. It is to occupy the state fully in imagination until it feels natural. Then you are not acting, you are being. And when you are being, the world bends to match your state. Action taken from this place of being is inspired, effective, and effortless. You do not chase after results. Results are drawn to you. There may be moments where the senses contradict your inner world. The bank statement may look unchanged. The calls may not come. The applause may not yet sound. But do not be swayed. Stand firm in your assumption. Know that what you see with the inner eye is more real than what you see with the outer. The world rearranges itself, not in a moment, but in accordance with your persistence. When you persist in the state of the wish fulfilled, the world has no choice but to echo your inner truth. Everything in the world responds to belief. Not blind belief, but the belief that comes from deep, felt conviction. This conviction is not found in effort, but in surrender. Surrender to the truth of your desire already fulfilled. Let go of striving. Let go of waiting. Fall in love with the feeling of the end. Let it dominate your inner world. Do not speak as someone who hopes. Speak as someone who knows. Walk as someone who has. Respond as someone who has already received. This is not delusion. This is creation. You are not lying to yourself. You are reprogramming the self. The new self becomes the new world. Every morning, before the world rushes in, return to the scene. Every night, before you sleep, re-enter the end. Feel it with richness, with gratitude, with certainty. Let your last thought be one of fulfillment. Drift off in possession. Let that feeling sink deep into the subconscious, where it will work in ways beyond understanding. As the days pass, your outer world will begin to conform, subtly at first, and then more clearly, You will meet new people. New ideas will come. Synchronicities will appear. You will be led without strain. But always, it will be in harmony with your inner assumption. For the world is a mirror, it does not initiate, it reflects. Live from the end. Let it become your identity. Not something you visit, but where you dwell. And the more natural this end becomes in your imagination, the more inevitable its reflection in the world. The law is simple. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and persist in that assumption. Do not seek, but be. Do not long, but live. All things are possible to the one who dares to believe not in chance, but in the creative power of their own wonderful imagination. There is a profound difference between striving and assuming. Most people spend their days laboring under the belief that effort alone is the path to transformation. They exhaust themselves trying to change conditions, rearrange people, chase opportunities, and manipulate the visible. But creation does not begin with effort. It begins with assumption. The true change happens not in what you do, but in what you accept as true of yourself. Assumption is a silent and sovereign act. It requires no noise, no announcement, no visible gesture. It is the inward knowing that you are already what you seek to become. It is the embrace of the new identity, without needing proof. This invisible act, though it seems passive, is the source of all power. Action that springs from assumption carries with it the force of certainty, while action that arises from doubt is scattered and weak. When one understands the power of assumption, the race ceases. There is no longer a frantic scramble to prove oneself, to earn worthiness, or to compete for results. There is only the calm dignity of being. The outer world must follow the inner decision. This is not theory, it is law. All things follow the state of consciousness from which they emerge. To try to change effects without changing cause is to miss the mark entirely. Do not misunderstand. Action has its place. But when action is not born of assumption, it is toil. It is the blind attempt to force a result while still entertaining inner doubt. Assumption, on the other hand, compels inspired action. It aligns every movement with your unseen conviction. You are not trying to create. You are responding to what already is true in your imagination. The burden lifts. The process becomes joyful. The work becomes play. There is a world of difference between someone who works to become rich and someone who assumes the consciousness of wealth. The former sees wealth as distant and themselves as lacking. Every action is tainted with striving. The latter has claimed it inwardly. Their behavior reflects it naturally. They may not yet see the bank balance, the house, or the travel, but inwardly the state is established. And this state, if persisted in, must draw to it every symbol that matches. The assumption is the seed. The seed contains within it the entire destiny of the tree. But no seed grows by being dug up and inspected daily. It must be planted and trusted. Likewise, once you assume a new state, let it take root. Return to it often in imagination. Water it with feeling. Shield it from the weeds of doubt and contradiction. The assumption will mature into reality. It cannot do otherwise. This inner conviction does not depend on outer permission. You need no validation. You do not require anyone's agreement. The assumption is a solitary act. It happens in the silence of your own being. And because it is silent, it is powerful. The world often mistakes noise for power, but the most potent shifts occur in stillness.